welcome back to a new vlog. If you're new here, my name is Nikisha. Welcome to my little corner of the internet here in sunny Cheshire for a change. And I say for a change because I was just about to complain about the weather in May this year. Usually May is just so beautiful, it's sunny, it's warm, it's perfect for a birthday. My son, his birthday's in May and he always has, lovely weather. It's just, I think it's such a lovely month to be born in. And this year it's just been really chilly, rainy, cold, grey, and I found myself wearing my cardigans a lot more than I usually do. In May, I usually find that I can wear my dresses, and I've just been too cold to do that. And I was sort of kicking myself thinking, why did I pack away my knits so soon? I could have kept them out until the end of May because it's been that cold up here. And then I saw this heat wave forecast and I was like, wow, okay, this is the May that I'm used to. But then, of course, a heat wave is hot. And I'm just like, anything over, I'd say 26, just feels a bit unbearable to me. We never really have this perfect in-between weather. And if we do, it doesn't last very long. So it's either one extreme to the other. But I'm grateful that this lovely May weather is back. It means I'm going to be out in the garden a lot more, doing a lot more watering. The benefits of, the rainy, cold weather that we had earlier in the month is that I wasn't having to go out so much to do all the watering, but now I am going to have to do a lot more watering in the garden to keep my hydrangeas hydrated. I don't have an irrigation system fitted. I wish I did, and I could just operate it with the tap of a button. It is something I'm going to look into. We have a few holidays coming up and I think it might be useful for the garden. We've got quite a few flowers now, so that could be something that could work really well for us. I'm just thinking when this video is going to be coming out. So I think when this comes out, half term will be well underway. Routines and things will be taking a bit of a backseat and I'll be kind of just adapting and just working to a different rhythm, I'd say. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be spending a lot of time in the garden in that beautiful weather, probably having the pool out and just having a lot of fun and just hanging out together. We also have a holiday coming up that we need to plan and sort for. I'll be working towards getting ourselves ready for that family vacation. I haven't actually set a proper posting date for my videos on YouTube. I feel like there's still a lot for me to learn here on the platform. I'm still figuring out how things work, the best time for me to post, the best days. I'm still trying to figure out how filming content works and fits around my family life. Also, I create content for Instagram. So I'm just kind of trying to find my way and a rhythm that works for me and my family before I set a day that I'm going to be sending all my vlogs out. At the moment I don't have one. It's just all very fluid. I film in the pockets of the day that I have the time to do that in, and at the moment that's working for me. So once I have something a bit more concrete, I would say, then I will probably set a date. But for now, I'm just posting as and when I finished editing these vlogs, just figuring out the music and sort of the just longer form in general is a lot to get your head around when you're used to creating short form content. So that's where I'm at with YouTube and posting. I've got quite a bit to catch up with in the garden this week. I need to plant out my seedlings. I want to make my garden feel really beautiful for the summer. I want it to feel ready. And so I've got some planting out to do, and I also need to fix a few issues. My hydrangea, they keep falling over when it rains, and so I just want to just get some supports in for them. So I've got plenty to be getting on with in the garden. that's nice. The sun is just peeking out through the clouds just as I'm sitting down to come and talk to you. I've just grabbed myself quite a big cup of tea. I'm having an Earl Grey tea. I do love an Earl Grey tea. I love lots of different teas, but Earl Grey is definitely one of my favourites. I'm just having a nice brew before I head out to the garden centre to try and get some flowers. So I've been looking for white petunias and just keeping my eye out for them, but I've not been seeing them around. I have started to see reds and pinks, but I am after white ones. I had some last year in my garden and they looked so lovely on, we've got some like screens in the garden, and we had some Annabelles and they just look so lovely together. The Annabelles are starting to come up now, and I think it's the right time to find white petunias. So I'm going to head to, I've got two places in mind that I'm going to go and check to see if I can find some white petunias. And then I'm going to plant them in my hanging baskets. And I'm also going to plant my sweet peas because they are now starting to bush out a little bit, but they're also starting to try to cling on to each other. So I'm going to plant those out now. I'm going to try and plant them on my side fence. I've got some pots that I'm going to plant them into. I've got some bay leaf trees. They are planted in wicker baskets. They look lovely, but I have seen if you plant white petunias in the basket too, it does create such a lovely cascading display of flowers. So I'm going to attempt that too. So I need to get myself quite a few petunias. One of the places I'm going to check is B&Q because I got them there last time. They were reasonably priced, and they did have lots. So I'm going to go back there and check, and if not, I'll check another local garden centre. I always love shopping for flowers. I also need to pick up some herbs. I'm thinking some thyme, some oregano, a bit more rosemary. I do have rosemary anyway, but I just want a little bit more. And I've got some basil that I've been growing on a lovely warm window. I've been watering it from the base because I lost my last basil and I want to make sure these ones survive. So I bought some supermarket basil. I divided them. I've been careful to water from the bottom only. And when I'm taking some basil, I'm not just picking the leaves off now. I am pinching, the stem between two leaves. I'm hoping that this approach keeps my basil alive for much longer. I will keep you posted with that one. This is the basil that I'm talking about. So I've divided it. It's a lot smaller now, and I have been watering from the base here. There's still a little bit in there, so I keep that topped up every day. When I need some basil, I'm now just pinching the stem between a pair of leaves here. I also have another one on this side here, and I'm trying my best to keep them both happy. So I'm back from the garden centres and I've got good news and not so good news. The good news is that I've got my herbs. I picked up some oregano. No, not oregano. I picked up some parsley, rosemary, thyme, and a bit of sage. I picked up some stuff to make my hanging baskets, like the mesh that goes inside. So I picked up those bits, but they didn't have, this is the not so good news, they didn't have white petunias. Guess what colour they did have? Pinks and reds, not whites. But not to worry, I went online, tried to find anywhere that had white petunias, and that wasn't very straightforward. However, I did check B&Q for the white petunias, and they didn't have them in store, but online they do, and they said they can be delivered within 2 days. So I've ordered them, and I'm hoping they will be here in the next 2 days. And in the meantime, I'm just going to get on with planting the sweet peas, and when the white petunias arrive, I'll plant those too. Now that that's all planted up, I'm going to just add some bamboo sticks into the pot just to help point them in the direction of the fence so that they don't start trying to tangle with each other again and just growing in the wrong direction. And I've also got some supports for my Annabelles. I do have the Annabelle Strong, but even with that variety, I find that when it rains, they just get really floppy and they lay down, and they just look much better when they're just upright. So I've got some stands that I'm going to just pop underneath. I should have done this before they started growing, but I can still get them in now. And then it comes with some wire that you can just wrap around just for some added support. So I'm going to go and add those in, and hopefully it will stop them flopping over when it gets a bit wet. I cut them all the way back down to the ground to encourage bigger blooms. And I think if you don't cut them all the way down to the ground and you just sort of give them a lighter prune, they give you smaller blooms, but you get more of them. So I prefer the huge, big mop head blooms. And so I cut them all the way down. And those mop heads, they're quite heavy for the stem, and they just fall over, and they just look so much better when they're propped upright. So I've got some of these supports, and I will link them down in the description box if you have some Annabelles and you've been having the same issue. So I have some really good news. My petunias have arrived. When they came, they were really flat, but I kept them out in the sun, watered them. They've bounced back again, which is lovely. So I am going to plant these in my hanging baskets and in my wicker baskets underneath my bay trees. I'm really excited to do that. I also picked up these geraniums. They're called Pink Light. And I've got some lovely terracotta pots that I think they would look beautiful in. So I'm also going to pot those up today. These are the little pots that I'm talking about. They have a nice little pretty frilly edge, and I think these lovely pink lights would look beautiful in them. Look at these beauties. I have no idea where they're going to go, but I'm pretty sure I'll find somewhere for them. So I didn't get a chance to film myself making the hanging basket, so I'm just going to show you what I've ended up with. So I originally had this hanging basket frame from last year, and all I did this year was buy a new sort of mesh to sit inside it. And then when my white petunias came, I planted up the white petunias just around the perimeter of the hanging basket. And then I decided that I wanted some height with something different in the center of it. So I went for some English lavender and I popped that in the center. And then I thought I'd like some ivy just to come and spill over the side of the basket. So I've added that in there. And I think the end result is really quite pretty. Just showing you. It's really lovely. So I can't wait for this to flourish and reach its full potential. And I will show you what that looks like once that happens. We also purchased this hook for the hanging basket, and this is what it hangs on here. I thought I would sit down with a mint tea and just have a bit of a moment. This is one of my favourite spots in the house, made so pretty by my newly potted pink light geraniums. This actually does give me a bit of inspiration for my diffuser. I think a touch of geranium in it with maybe a bit of lavender will smell really lovely. There's something else, I'm not sure, but it's definitely given me some inspiration for the smell inside the house. Maybe even linen spray as well. I think a touch of geranium in my linen spray wouldn't go amiss. That could be quite lovely. It feels better out here now, so much nicer. I really wanted the garden to be ready for the summer, and I feel like now that I've done all the planting, it feels like it's there now. So we're just going to enjoy the space and just keep looking after my flowers and my little seedlings, and hopefully they will all grow and flourish to make this space really beautiful. It's so rewarding when you plant seedlings and then you just see everything start to grow, flourish. You smell the wonderful scents around the garden. It's such a lovely experience. It's really calming, calms my nervous system. It's just such a relaxing hobby, one that I just really enjoy. I'm really hoping that these supports work well for the hydrangea. So far, I can see some of the stems are leaning on them, so fingers crossed when we do get some heavy rain that they do sit upright. They do actually come with quite a few. You can actually support from the back as well, but these don't need any support from the back. My trouble was them falling forward. But if you have some that are sort of planted in an open space, you could put supports around the front, the back, the sides, and use the wire just for some added extra strength. So I feel like spring went by really quickly, and now I'm having to think ahead for the warmer months and think, what do we need to do in the house for summer? When it gets really hot, I do struggle. And so I use a cooling blanket. I do have a cooling mattress, which works a treat, but I'm not keen on keeping the windows open overnight. I know that's when the air's the coolest, but I just can't sleep with the windows open. We do usually use a fan, but I think maybe even some air conditioning might work a treat for us. So lots to think ahead and plan for. Thank you so much for watching today. It's been so lovely to share this week in the garden with you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you again on the next video.